All this time, we've always thought that the most advanced civilization was that of ancient Greece, ancient Roman civilization. Oh, yes, we think that the times of Plato, the times of Julius Caesar were the best civilizations, but actually they weren't. But, bro, ancient Greece was the place where Stoicism, Seneca, Epictetus, Aristotle, and Plato were born. Who else? The Doctor Hippocrates, yes, I know. But their civilization was not that great. They're not much different from Vrindavan. In this video, I want to discuss ancient Greek civilization, ancient Roman civilization back in the day. Yeah, and not as great as the legends, not as great as we have known all this time. I consider ancient Greece and ancient Rome to be the same because they are both in the time before Christ and their timelines are slightly different. I consider them the same since the distance is close. For simplicity, I assume they are similar. As a Hippocrates is the father of doctors worldwide. If you become a doctor, you recite the oath, Hippocratic oath. Yes, amazing, the father of doctors. But even his methods, well, weren't free from oddities either. He wasn't exactly scientific. Well, because back then diagnostic tools weren't as advanced as they are now. So if there were a few unscientific things, it was still alright. For example, if there was an illness, he would taste your earwax. Because according to him, the fluids in the body can illustrate whether a person is sick or not. And that's not wrong actually. But for diagnosis now we use tools, whereas in the past it was tasted. So your earwax was tasted by him. Not gay though, still okay, as long as he's not tasting it directly from the source. How would you feel if a doctor were digging around in your ear, to get your earwax? That would be done good, right? Damn good. It may sound stupid, but this is really real. But besides earwax, there's also another fluid, which is fluid, urine, again, if it's tasted not directly from the source, I think it's not gay. But if it's directly from the source, that's a gay lord. That's called liking it. But this is real, you can check. Anyway, this is real. He tastes urine, tastes people's vomit. So being a medical student in the old days was unpleasant when asked to try earwax, urine, that temper vomit, and if the taste wasn't common. We have an indicator, right? How common vomit tastes, how common urine tastes. If it's not common, there's a problem in the patient's body. Yes, it's like Greek doctors. This is the founder of Sukatoro Ja. It seems like this is crazy in the end. Fortunately, they don't try your feces, but trying urine, well, okay. The second thing is that people in the old days also had the civilization of the habit of washing up. Yes, Yuta Lando and the Westerners clean up with tissue and that's dirty. Yes, Yadulas, I once stayed in London and cleaned with tissue for a month, and yes, that was dirty, yes, and it was itchy. But cleaning with tissue is cleaner than how people in ancient Greece cleaned. And people in ancient Greece, if they were lucky, cleaned with a sponge. So the sponge was tied to a stick, you rubbed it on the butt. Yes, they were lucky to use that, but the sponge was shared. Those who were not lucky, they cleaned themselves with stones. So who that got your butt, got hemorrhoids, you wipe with a stone. And the stone can't be too big nor too small. If it's too big, you can't take it. It doesn't fit in your butt. If it's too small, can go into your rear end. That's terrible. And besides using stones, they also use shards from clay utensils, So it's called pottery. If you play games about pharaohs, it's called pottery. Pottery is clay utensils. Those shards can also be used for killing oneself. How is it that your bottom doesn't get hemorrhoids again, The third one is the phenomenon of naked athletes. Yes, if you participate in the Olympics, well, the Olympics originated from ancient Greece. Yes, the Olympics were offerings to Zeus. And athletes in ancient Greece, they were always naked during the Olympics. Why? Because it was to offer to the god Zeus. Is Zeus gay or what? But bro, were the female athletes also naked? Oh no, in the old days there were no female athletes. So the ones who were naked were only the men. So if for instance, you like seeing naked male fighters, you can find the time machine and travel to the time of Aristotle and you'll definitely see it. Next, there's crocodile dung skincare. This is from ancient Rome. So crocodile dung was considered an antibacterial. This is total nonsense. I'm also confused by this Sukatoro. This person is really crazy. Crocodile dung was considered an antibacterial agent. Eventually, it was used as skincare. You also have fire with acne. You have inflammation. You have bleeding. In this modern age, even acne-scarred doctors still have scarred faces. If crocodile excrement could really remove scars, those doctors pitted skulls have already absorbed crocodile feces. They can't nowadays. Pitted skulls can't disappear. We have to be rational, you know. But back then, it was understandable because back then things weren't as logical since the tools couldn't prove things in as much detail as today. But I think they were just imagining things themselves. How could they use feces? Crocodile like that. Nowadays we should be grateful. If you have a burnt face issue, don't worry. There's already a remedy that doesn't use crocodile feces, doesn't use human feces, doesn't use Korea feces. Now you use Brighton cream. It makes sense, sabi Dayton. I made it inspired by that legendary data and cream with a more potent Brighton cream agent, and this is really hyped data, really hot right now. Yes, you use Brighton cream. Don't use that kind of stuff. No. Next, I really like this. I hope it still exists now, but now it doesn't because there are many human rights, social justice warriors. Yes. Nowadays, there are many human rights social justice warriors. Being lenient for criminals isn't as exciting as it used to be. If in the Greek times, their ancient methods weren't just about beheading. No, that was Napoleon's beheading. Not just about shooting. No, that was during America's independence. In ancient Greece, they put vegetables into cakes. No, but it's cool in my opinion. So the person eventually sentenced to death would end up being put in a turnip and will die after the bleeding. That radish is big. The radish is bigger than you being sodomized by Portrait Shaquille O'Neal and in public to be shamed. Sometimes not just turnip, but sometimes spilled spicy ginger is inserted. Pumpanosin, ito next is the habit of mouthwash. Yes, if we use Listerine, they used urine. Urine was considered magical water because in the past there was no smelly water, so there was urine, and because urine came from your own body, it was considered sterile without germs, which is not true. Gargling with urine, and sometimes it's not even their own urine. It's considered to be able to whiten teeth, believed to make breath fragrant with what? And the philosopher who was recorded to have gargled with urine was Seneca. One of the pioneers of Stoicism, Seneca said, "A calm mind can endure any suffering." Seneca said, "We suffer only in our imagination." But Seneca also said he enjoyed urine. But in Vrindavan, some still like to use cow urine for rinsing. Lastly, be grateful that every morning we can go to the bathroom to wash our face with Ustra Neem face wash soap. What? Alive. This is really legendary. Using neem leaves inside. Yes, because in the old days, people washed their faces with urine again. As I said earlier, urine was considered the holy grail. Yes, holy grail. And it turns out ancient Chinese also used urine. Ancient Egyptians also used urine. As what? As face wash? As skincare? Yes. Urine was used to wash clothes sa floors and faces na riba. So nowadays, the soap for washing your face and body can't be the same. The substances are different. Using liquid urine, awesome. Urine contains ammonia. If it gets on your face, it can be dangerous and cause irritation. But in the past, ammonia was considered a potent agent for skin. People think of ancient Greece, ancient Rome, ancient Egypt as a very advanced civilizations. Atlantis is the birthplace of Stoicism. They think being stoic makes you like Superman, but no. According to my spiritual teacher, Shane Riwasan, stoic people have nothing to do with happiness. You don't need to be stoic to be happy, and being stoic doesn't automatically mean happiness. There's no its connection. So ancient Greece and all these philosophers weren't as great as the stories make them out to be. Just average. Philosophy is actually just for unemployed people, those with too much free time, so they end up thinking a lot, and their thoughts are based on logic. Their thoughts, and some are logical and correct, and some are not correct. Basically, philosophy, according to my teacher Siyariwasan, is an invention. But in the works have many truths and many errors like that. But still, like the world is grateful to philosophers, just not that heroic. Yeah, try to comment below on what video we should discuss next.